Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the Just Chatting Gaming News and Trailers for the week of November 5th. Time is flying by. We have a pretty good slate of news and trailers today, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. We now have some new information about PlayStation VR 2. That news being we have the launch date of February 22nd, 2023, and the price tag of $500, well, basically $550. And the price tag has been the hot topic of conversation, basically being that if you want a PlayStation VR 2, you're essentially paying the same price, if not more, than an actual PS5. But yeah, VR continues to be a very niche thing, and yeah, people just aren't super impressed with the price tag on this. So it's basically, if you get the PS5 and the VR 2, you're looking at a little over $1,000 for the entire package. But yeah, they came out, and as you can see here, they're showing off some more images and the box, and they released a little video and gave some specs. A lot of this information we already have, but yeah, personally for me, I have not jumped into the whole VR thing yet. I think it's a cool idea, but I feel like the tech isn't there yet. And, you know, it's something that's gonna have to be expensive. Like, there's no way they're gonna be able to do, like, oh, a super high quality VR unit for $100. Like, that's just not gonna happen anytime soon. So, like, if you want a good tech, you're gonna have to spend quite a bit of money for it. I think a lot of the other VR units are like even like above that. I know back a couple years ago there was one of them that was like $1,000 or something like that, and it's like, you know, it's kind of still like a new technology. So yeah, you're gonna be paying that much for it. So we'll see what the PlayStation VR 2, you know, what it does, what kind of games it gets, and all that fun stuff, and we'll see if it actually turns out being really good when it comes out. Next up, we have a story where Electronic Arts has signed a 3-game deal with Marvel. Now, they've already announced the Iron Man game. It's been heavily rumored that they're doing a Black Panther game. No words on what studio yet. And then the third one is kind of up in the air. And I think for this particular deal, I think EA and Disney learned a lot from the Star Wars deal they did, where it was basically like, all right, 10 years and you can just do whatever you want. And then for most of that time, they did nothing. And then right when their time was running out is when they started churning out games, essentially. So this time, Disney was like, all right, you know what? Just here's a deal, 3 games. Do whatever you want, take as long as you want, but you're only getting 3. And it's not exclusive this time. And I think in the end, that's like just a much better deal for EA, so they can, you know, again, do what they want, take their time, whatever. It's completely on them. If they want to make some garbage mobile game that'll probably make them a lot of money, they can do that. But it sounds like they're not going that way. Unless the third game is that, but who knows. This is actually a fairly new story. This just popped up yesterday. This particular article is only 3 hours old. But Windows Central is reporting, according to their sources, that Diablo 4 could be launching in April of 2023, and that pre-orders are going to go live in December. Of course, we have the Game Awards, the Jeff Keighley show, in December. So the rumor is, in addition to that we could be getting the release date and the pre-order during the Game Awards, which would make a lot of sense. So I'm very excited for Diablo 4. It looks like it's going to be a very big, massive game, and I'm a big fan of ARPGs. So yeah, 100%. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has generated over $600 million in 3 days. The first 3 days, making it the fastest selling Call of Duty of all time. You know, you look at a story like that, and then you go back to why Sony has been fighting Xbox so hard to make sure that Call of Duty stays on the PlayStation, you kind of understand why that is, because those games just make so much money. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. I mean, I still think at some point down the road, Microsoft could pull COD from PlayStation, but at least we know it probably won't be in the next 5 years. But if you think about it, and if they were to do that and only release Call of Duty on Xbox and PC, I mean, that would make them so much money. It's crazy. But yeah, moving forward over the next 5 years or so, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how Microsoft does that deal with Sony and what kind of like revenue or kickback does Microsoft get for having their game on PlayStation. So, pretty cool. This one's a little bit weird. So, the headline, as I have it here, Embracer Group has closed Onoma Games, which is previously known as Square Enix Montreal. You guys might remember a story from like several weeks ago where like Embracer Group came in and they had bought some stuff, and then they had since then released some studios and essentially allowed some studios to kind of go on their own, but then they kept other ones, and it was just kind of a weird, messy story. And then 3 weeks ago, Square Enix Montreal renamed themselves to this new studio, and everybody thought everything was going to be, you know, good, essentially. And then now Embracer Group is like, no, we're shutting them down. It's like, what? Such a weird story. But yeah, in addition to that piece of news, there was some additional information that came out as far as Eidos Montreal and the fact that they're working on a new IP, which is something that we're aware of. But a little bit of new news is the fact that they're actually working on a new Deus Ex. And I know the Deus Ex community is very happy about that, because a lot of them considered the last one to be just absolute garbage. So hopefully they're able to actually make the game that they want to make this time. And I don't know, maybe they just reboot the franchise at this point. You know, who knows? It's hard to say, but yeah, hopefully it's good and it's not full of like weird microtransactions, and they can just kind of keep going with it or make a new one. Either way. Final story, and this is kind of game related. That's the fact that the Last of Us TV show on HBO has a release date of January 15th. So I'm very excited for that show. It's got a lot of good backing. So hopefully they'll be able to pull that off, and it will be as good as the first game. All right, let's go ahead and kick on over to trailers. Kill the music. Bop, bop. All right, first trailer. We've been playing a lot of these city builders here recently, and here's another one. I've never even heard of this one. So this is the early access release date for Astro Colony. I guess let's see what this one's all about. I guess we're in... Oh, are we not in space? I thought we were in space. That seems a little weird. He was mining that asteroid, but that asteroid was like 100 feet away. That's like a graviton beam or something. It like pulled in a little asteroid. The sound in this trailer is weird. But you can see they're trying to copy like Factorio or Satisfactory. So it's like a colony mixed with a factory sim. When the robots invade. Okay. I feel like this looks a little rough. Are they getting sucked into a black hole? That's one way to destroy your base. Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that one, but that one looks a little rough compared to some of the other ones that I've seen as of late. All right, going from one colony sim to another. This is the Steam launch trailer, I believe for early access and for Against the Storm. This game I've actually played. This one's pretty good. Take a look.
In the end, the Blight came. We started anew in these ruthless, untamed lands. We built foundations for what we hope to call home. May fortune favor us this time. We couldn't save all, but there was no time for mourning. We had to search for food, but the woods are strange.
Are they? Oh, there's your problem.
We disturbed the forest.
Oh, wow.
And angered its spirits.
I never ran into that.
To live again in harmony, we sent our bravest to appease them. By the grace of the Queen, our village thrived. But as we progressed, the forest fought back. In the end, the Blight came.
Well, that's a problem.
We will keep the fire burning, no matter the cost.
Yeah, the game's all right from what I've played of it so far. It's a little bit different than just your standard like city builder survival game. It's actually got like a lot of enemies, different types. Yeah. Not bad, not bad. No, you too bad. All right, next up, we have a new trailer for Sonic Frontier. That game comes out here in just a couple of days. This is the Showdown trailer. Let's take a look.
Find the Chaos Emeralds.
Hopefully this game is good.
Tear down the walls between dimensions.
It's a Tails.
Destroy the Titans.
There it is.
Are the key.
Am I gonna get DMCA'd? He went Super Saiyan. Yeah, I believe at the time that I'm shooting this video, the review embargo for that game lifts tomorrow at like 9 a.m. So we'll see. All right. We have a new character coming to Overwatch. And so this is the origin story for this new character. So let's take a look.
I was created to lead Omnics into war. But all I have ever wanted is a better life for my people. The fact that we exist is a miracle unto itself. We have studied the ways of peace and harmony. We have meditated on the universe and our place within it. We have tried to coexist with humanity, but humanity is not interested in sharing their world. How many more Omnics should perish to fuel mankind's dreams? No more. Our race is only a single generation. Finite. And dying all too quickly. We can find our own place. And we must. Join me. And together, we will make a better future for all Omnics.
Uh-oh. All the humans are gonna die. That's what I understood from that. All right. We have us a release date trailer for Blood Bowl 3. I'm actually pretty interested in this. Blood Bowl 2 is really good. For those who don't know, this is basically D&D football. Definitely looks so much better than the last game. Be interesting to see what they changed, like mechanic-wise. There's already like 50 games coming out in February, so sure, let's just add another one to the list. Too many games, chat. Too many games. All right. We have an announcement for a game. So this is a game that we already know about, but it's a game that's now being announced for Game Pass. So let's take a look. There's been a big resurgence of this IP as of late.
The board is set.
There's like 2 or 3 games being made from this IP.
The native Fremen dream of creating a green Arrakis,
I need to watch the new movie. I still haven't seen it.
while the Baron Harkonnen wants to paint it red. The noble Atreides, bound by the whims of the Emperor, are blinded by their honor. their quest to control Dune's precious resources while learning to survive its punishing sun distracts them from those who lurk in the shadows. Smugglers, who above all desire profit by turning the tables. The board is set. The spice war begins.
You know, we can always use some more good RTSs. Let's dune it up. All right, 3 trailers left. This should be a fun one. We've already seen a few trailers for Forspoken, and this is the Deep Dive Magic Combat trailer presented in 4K. I hope this game's good. You can buy it on PlayStation if you want.
This is Athia, home to treacherous landscapes, corrupted beasts, and menacing threats. To survive in this wicked environment, Frey must learn how to master an arsenal of magical abilities. There are multiple types of spells Frey can learn to deploy, and each type of magic will have its own array of attack, support, and parkour skills. Frey will have access to the base spells of each magic type, with powerful upgrades available to earn by collecting mana. At the onset of her journey, Frey discovers the Earth-based purple magic. The quick attack spell for this magic is known as Shock. And by charging up Shot, Frey can unleash more powerful attacks. Burst Shot fires clusters of explosive rock. Shield Shot creates a defensive barrier while charging, and explodes into smaller particles when released. Scatter Shot unloads a steady stream of rocks, then quickly triggers a high-impact, long-range projectile.
Them deer aren't gonna make it.
Also provides her with support spells that come in handy in a variety of ways. For example, Prime sets up explosive traps. Screen generates a force field, and Tendril heals, based on how much damage it does.
Like, I feel like this has the potential to be like the coolest magic game we've ever had. Especially when you mix this in with the movement of this game, which looks just very fluid. It looks really cool.
For more defensive-minded players, Frey has a host of abilities that provide her with survivability in battle. Learning how to dodge attacks with magic parkour is the key to defeating the corrupted threats of Athia. But when she does get struck, Frey's trusty sidekick Cuff will take the hit to reduce the damage dealt and create an opportunity for a counterattack. Cuff can also be extremely useful before any enemy encounter occurs. With Cuff's assistance, Frey can scan the area for nearby points of interest and potential threats. Additionally, Cuff can examine enemies to provide valuable intel on their strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
Later into Frey's journey, she will unlock fire-based red magic, and these spells open up new ways to play. Spells like Fusillade, Aegis, and Legion are strong defensive options. But sometimes a strong offense is the best defense. Red magic gives Frey the ability to unleash some devastating melee attacks.
So a couple things. One, I wonder how many spells are actually in the game. And two, when we're watching this video, they're running this video at like 10 FPS because they're trying to show the spells. but it'd be cool if they were to take like a 1-minute section and run the game in real time. Just to show you how fast it's going to be.
The quick attack spell for red magic bestows Frey with a magical blade called Slice. A charged up Slice unleashes the magic attacks Arc, Blast, and Rage Slice. Additionally, the red magic support spells provide various offensive capabilities, such as Charge and Bombardier.
Well, that was a cool kick move.
In addition to purple and red magic, Frey will gain access to blue and green magic as she progresses on her journey. These magic types also offer a multitude of attack and support spells for Frey to master. Using attack and support spells gradually charges Frey's surge magic, eventually enabling her to cast an extra powerful spell. Used at the right moment, it can wipe out an entire opposing force in one fell swoop. Frey can also choose to end an opponent by dealing a killer blow, a devastating move she can perform when an enemy is stunned on the ground. Experimenting with different magic types and abilities allows Frey to tailor her combat style to suit any perilous situation. With a wide range of magical abilities at her disposal, Frey will have a multitude of ways to deal with any situation she may encounter. Only after mastering these new abilities will she be able to defend Athia against the corrupting force of the Break, and perhaps find a way back home.
Yeah, show us some real-time, real-speed gameplay. That'd be great. Oh, hold on. All right, final 2 videos for the day are Marvel Midnight Suns. This first one is like a little animated movie deal. It's called the Salem Sisters prequel short. It's 8 minutes long. So here we go. Sit back and let's see what this is. This game's like a month away.
Was not truly lost, that the prophecy of the Midnight Sun is still a threat. I cannot do what you ask, but there is a contingency. To know it, you must know how it came to pass. It all started with that fanatic, Hiram Shaw. Your predecessor thought witches were competition and sought to root them out. Shaw was formidable, more than he should have been. We battled him for years, to a stalemate. Amidst the conflict, life went on, for Lilith more than I. Love led her to do what all the blood forswear. Bear a child of human origin. But a sickness took hold in Salem. First, it struck her husband. Then, her child. Desperation led my sister to approach Shaw and beg him to save her child. What she discovered changed everything. Shah possessed a dark and ancient book, said to be written by the elder god Cathar. The Darkhold. We knew it well, for the blood had spent centuries containing the aftermath of its vile magic. It could not remain in his hands. My sister and I gave everything we had to force him back. And as I sealed him away forever, Lilith chose to betray everything for which we stood.
Uh-oh.
She knew the danger of reading or even touching the Darkhold. But she sought to perform a ritual drawn from its wicked pages.
Esto matrega shot. 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 No! What have you done?
What have you done? Why?
I will do anything to protect my child.
I knew what must be done. But in a moment of weakness, I damned the entire world. Leave! I will care for the child, but you can never return!
Now the child is the hunter, right?
Soon after, her child recovered. I did as I promised. Lilith did not.
As you command.
Our contingency is the page torn from the Darkhold. You know it as the Parchment of Power. It resides in the hands of Jonathan Blaze, one of the few people it cannot twist and tempt.
Jonathan Blaze?
If the prophecy does yet come to pass, can I count on your support to retrieve it?
Sarah, when have I ever let you down?
All right, Doctor Strange.
We can't rely on Dr. Strange alone. We'll need to form a team with the best. The toughest. The fastest. The deadliest. And someone who can bring them all together.
That's a nice little animated deal. All right, we don't need to see this. All right, final video of the day is actually another gameplay showcase. We've been going through these. And so we've got one more. So here we go.
Well, we've made it to our 12th hero showcase, and we're going to deep dive into my personal favorite superhero on the roster. As always, this video is brought to you in partnership with Marvel and 2K. I want to start by sharing a quote from Avengers Volume 8, number 25. Everyone keeps telling me that I'm the worst Ghost Rider that ever lived. Like that's supposed to be some kind of insult. But what the hell have the Ghost Riders ever done, except bring misery to themselves and everyone they love? Except die alone or go bat crazy? Well, that's not me, Uncle Eli. That's not how I'm going out. To hell with being a spirit of vengeance. I'm an Avenger. I feel like this perfectly sums up this week's hero, not just in terms of personality, but also ties in very nicely with his playstyle. By now it's obvious, but this week's hero is Robbie Reyes, aka Ghost Rider. Now, Ghost Rider's playstyle is mostly focused on dealing major amounts of damage, but a lot of his cards have a trade-off that cost either his own health or cards in your hand. He also has his own souls meter to fill, and that encourages you to get knockouts with Ghost Rider himself. You'll also find that Ghost Rider operates best when he can spend a lot of heroism, so he'll pair best with heroes that generate heroism or have heals, since he'll be routinely damaging himself to fuel his damage output. Now, since Ghost Rider is my personal favorite, I'm going to take some liberties here, and I'm going to showcase more heroic abilities than usual. They're crazy strong, their animations are over the top, and their gameplay impacts are heavenly. Or should I say, heavenly. No, probably not. We'll start with one of his skills called Immolate that doesn't have a trade-off of health or cards, but it does act as a great setup for follow-up attacks. Immolate makes it so that enemies KO'd by Ghost Rider for the next 2 turns become ticking time bombs and explode in an AoE around them for extra damage. On upgrade, the damage is doubled, and I'd like to point out here that it's generating above average heroism as well, something that Ghost Rider will absolutely utilize later in the fights. Earlier I mentioned that you'll want to get KOs with Ghost Rider to build his souls meter, so let's explain a little bit about how that's going to work. Each knockout will increase his souls meter by 1 block. Once it's full, you'll automatically draw a Drain Soul card. Now, Drain Soul cards have Chain 2, they're lifesteal cards, and they have this hellish stacking capability. Each time a Drain Soul card is played, it'll give all Drain Soul cards an extra chain attack, but it's also going to increase the heroism cost requirement too. The idea here is to get as many knockouts as possible with Ghost Rider, keep filling that meter, keep buffing Drain Soul, and soon you'll be chaining every enemy across the map while keeping your health up with lifesteal. This can also be buffed with Hunter Friendship levels. At level 1, filling the souls meter will buff Ghost Rider's health by 15%, and at level 2, it's going to reduce the number of souls required to fill the meter by 1. Now keep in mind, you can only trigger the health buff twice per battle, so plan accordingly. Okay, it's heroics time. Now here's one of the cards that does have a big health trade-off for Ghost Rider. Judgment is going to consume 25% of Ghost Rider's current health.
That's not bad.
It's going to damage an enemy and everything nearby at a rate of 2 damage for every health that you trade it. So keep in mind with some of the previous things we've already discussed, as his health goes higher, you're going to have more health to trade for cards like this. The upgrade for this card is nice because it makes your positioning decisions a little bit easier. Instead of hitting everything with the nearby damage, it will only impact enemies. This next heroic card could easily have been a Midnight Sun's golden heroic ability, in my opinion. But for Ghost Rider, I guess everything he does is awesome. Hellride is just one ability that stuck with me from the early preview event I did many months back, just for how over the top it is. When casting Hellride, Ghost Rider's gonna summon his ride from the depths, and he runs over every enemy in a line for major
That's really
damage.
nicely animated.
The trade-off, however, it could hurt. After playing Hellride, your entire hand will be discarded. Obviously, get creative with your timing here, and it can be less of a problem or potentially no problem at all if it's the last card in your hand. The upgrade for Hellride is pretty nice too. It just gives you more damage, and you could get late game mods that add other status effects.
Yeah, I'm actually considering making my character like just the healer. and then letting like all these other guys just do all the damage.
In this case, you're seeing you can apply vulnerable to every enemy that you hit as well. Last but certainly not least is Ghost Rider's Midnight Sun's heroic ability. Penance Stare is similar in nature to Judgment. It's got a bunch of extra hellfire behind it. Penance Stare will consume 50% of Ghost Rider's health to target an enemy, and this time is going to deal 4 damage per health consumed. In addition, it's also going to fill your souls meter, granting you a drained soul card, of course, and we've already talked about how powerful those could become. But because of all of this, Penance Stare does have exhaust, so use it wisely. In an ideal scenario, when you're on empty souls, for hellish efficiency, of course. So that's it. That's Ghost Rider. We've now covered all of the announced heroes on the roster for Midnight Suns. So who's up next? A lot of guesses flying around. You'll have to stay tuned to find out, but have no fear. We'll return with a 13th hero very soon, including details on how you'll unlock them. There's been a lot of juicy details dropped on the social channels about the Legendary Edition and the game's DLC, so check those out if you haven't already. Thanks again to Marvel and 2K for working with me on this series. I've had a blast with it so far, and I can't wait to bring you the 13th hero very soon. Check out the links down below for all things Marvel's Midnight Suns, and we will see you again shortly. Cue the Hulk scream.
Yeah, I want to say off the top of my head, there's what, 2 unannounced heroes? And then there's an additional 4 that's coming as part of their, like, DLC expansion or whatever the heck it is. One of those is Deadpool. I'm very curious to see how Deadpool's going to play in this game. Hopefully they just make him crazy, but we'll see. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That'll go ahead and do it for another Just Chatting Gaming News and Trailers. For those who are watching on YouTube, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.